Together, they promise to make America great again.
I like Steve a lot.
Donald Trump was the best candidate I think we had since Ronald Reagan.
But as of tonight, their bromance is now bust.
You thought 2017 was just unpredictable. We're 3 days into the new year, and this is unreal.
Steve Bannon, quoted in a new book, reportedly using words like treasonous and unpatriotic to characterize that June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower with a Russian lawyer claiming to have dirt on Hillary Clinton. Tonight, the president's lawyers are telling Bannon to cease and desist his disparaging comments.
Furious, disgusted would probably certainly fit.
The president isn't happy at all.
Going after the president's son in an absolutely outrageous and unprecedented way is probably not the best way to curry favor with anybody.
According to the book Fire and Fury by journalist Michael Wolff, Bannon says they should have called the FBI immediately. And Bannon reportedly predicts they're going to crack Don Jr. like an egg on national TV. In today's White House briefing, Trump's reaction to Bannon actually drew more questions than his war of words with North Korea's leader, even though Trump and Kim Jong-un have been trading taunts about nuclear missiles. Just last night, Trump tweeted his nuclear button is much bigger and more powerful than Kim's. With Bannon, Trump really took off the gloves, issuing not merely a tweet, but a formal White House statement shunning his former chief strategist. The President of the United States writing, "Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind." Trump goes on to say Steve had very little to do with our historic victory and insists Steve doesn't represent my base. He's only in it for himself.
What we've seen today is a major shift. Bannon was the closest political person to the president for months since he entered the campaign. So I would say this is a monumental rift.
The Trump and Bannon partnership has been one of the most tumultuous political relationships in recent history.
Another major shakeup at the White House.
Steve Bannon, President Trump's powerful chief strategist, is out.
Just months ago, the president lavished praise on Bannon.
I have a very good relationship, as you know, with Steve Bannon. Steve's been a friend of mine for a long time. I like Steve a lot.
And Bannon, on 60 Minutes, expressed no hard feelings toward Trump.
I'm a street fighter. That's what I am. And by the way, I think that's why Donald Trump and I get along so well. Donald Trump's a fighter. Great counterpuncher.
Bannon, now on the outside, appeared to have plenty of scores to settle with people around Trump.
Right now, it's a season of war against a GOP establishment.
Threatening to challenge any Republican leader who dared stand in the way of the Trump agenda.
This is not my war. This is our war. They're just looking to find out who's going to be Brutus to your Julius Caesar.
When the Republican Party leadership convinced the president to back a more conventional candidate for the Alabama Senate seat,
Luther Strange is our man.
Bannon got out the vote for the firebrand.
This is not about Judge Moore. It's not about Donald Trump. This is about you. This is about you, 100%.
Thank you. Moore's victory in the primaries ultimately got the president on the bandwagon.
Get out and vote for Roy Moore.
But that political bet did not pay off. Even the president's endorsement was not enough to help Moore overcome allegations of sexual impropriety that tarnished his campaign. The result?
Congratulations.
Today, a Democrat was sworn in for an Alabama Senate seat for the first time in 25 years. Today's rift is not about Alabama. It's about issues that hit much closer to home for President Trump, specifically the Russia investigation, that famous Trump Tower meeting, and the president's own son. Don Jr. admits he regrets taking that meeting with the Russian lawyer.
In retrospect, I probably would have done things a little differently.
The president has backed his son up.
I think from a practical standpoint, most people would have taken that meeting. It's called opposition research or even research into your opponent.
The president insists he was not aware of the meeting at the time, but the new book, Fire and Fury, says Bannon is casting serious doubt on that claim. Quote, "The chance that Don Jr. didn't walk them up to his father's office on the 26th floor is zero." Is that opinion potentially significant to the special counsel's investigation?
Mr. Mueller, are you investigating the president?
Probably not. Steve Bannon apparently says this was a treasonous, unpatriotic meeting and that they should have called the FBI right away. Is that legally significant?
There's a big difference between unpatriotic and treason. Treason is a legal term. And to commit treason, you really have to do some very bad stuff. But most importantly, it has to be during a time of war.
Bannon was not in the room for that meeting. He joined the campaign months after that meeting. Sounds like he's entitled to his opinion, right?
Yeah, he's entitled to his opinion, but it sounds like what he really means to say is, boy, was this dumb. This never should have happened. That's different than treason.
Bannon is just one of more than 200 Trump insiders that journalist Michael Wolff says he spoke with for his new book, due to come out next week. Today's Bannon-Trump feud likely to be the appetizer, the first of several big bombshells.
It seemed the White House learned about this book in real time today, and it took just minutes for them to go on the attack mode. They are dismissing the book as trashy tabloid fiction, but as much as aides here might want to now distance themselves from Steve Bannon, he was a principal architect of the Trump administration. This has to be a sting for them.
ABC News has obtained an advance copy of the book. Among the other claims that Trump didn't expect to win on election night. The book quotes Don Jr. saying his father looked as if he'd seen a ghost when he was finally told he had clinched it.
There was a sense that none of them believed that the president was going to win in this race. And the book obviously reports that the president himself didn't think he was going to win.
Wolff says First Lady Melania Trump did not want her husband to win, and that when he did, she, quote, was in tears and not of joy. Today, the First Lady disputed that, insisting she was confident he would win and was very happy when he did. Wolff's book reports that Ivanka Trump entertains hopes of running for president someday herself, hoping to become America's first woman president. But Wolff also quotes Steve Bannon calling Ivanka dumb as a brick.
We've always heard that in Donald Trump there's rings of people surrounding him, and the closest ring is family, and that's obviously what Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner represent. We've heard over the course of the last year, there's always been this rift between the family associates and people in the family and many of the outer rings.
Wolff's book also paints a picture of a president who is isolated in the extreme, who, according to Wolff, goes to bed at 6:30 p.m. to eat cheeseburgers, make phone calls, and watch television. Late tonight, Bannon was on Sirius satellite radio, not denying what he's quoted as saying in the book, but not lashing out at the president either.
The President of the United States is a great man. You know, I support him day in and day out.
Tonight, the White House is calling the book trashy fiction, but it ended up leading the evening news.
Steve Bannon turning on this White House, turning on the president's family.
Furious and disgusted. President Trump ripping Steve Bannon tonight.
And with advanced publicity like this, it's likely to be a bestseller. I'm David Wright for Nightline in New York.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.